I'm going to be brutally honest with you about your weight. Okay, I'm going to be brutally honest because I want you to actually change going into 2025 or whenever you're watching this, okay? I want you to win, and you are not winning when it comes to getting the body of your dreams or on the way to the body of your dreams because you actually just think you're too old. You don't think that you have time left to be able to get the body of your dreams. You are believing what society has told you about being too late, being too old. Your particular background can't do this. Your socioeconomic can't do this. Your community, women in your community can't do this. You are believing the lies. You are believing the limiting beliefs, okay? And I'm here to tell you that that's why. Like, if you cannot first believe that you actually can do it, even if you look in the mirror and you look completely super far from how you want to look, if you don't believe it in your mind and you disassociate what you see in the mirror from what you believe yourself to be, like your best elite self in your mind, then you won't, it just can't happen. Like, it literally will not be able to manifest, okay? And I'm not talking about anything woo-woo. It's like you literally have to have the belief that you can do it in order for you to start to go on the journey, because there's going to be a lot of trial and error. There's going to be a lot of failure. There's going to be a lot of pain, a lot of stress, a lot of just days that you don't feel like moving your body, days that you don't feel like eating super nutritious, or just days where you're like, just forget it. Like, I'm just gonna, like, why should I even go for it, right? So here's the thing. I want to give you guys a little bit of a backstory as to who I am and why I'm even saying, like, I feel like I have the authority to say this. So I am on my way to the next decade that starts with the number 4, okay? With the number 4. I have one more year left, coming up on my last year with the decade number that starts with the 3, okay? I'm just going to communicate it in that way, just because I think it's fun to communicate it in that way. It's a blessing to age, but, you know, there is a lot of things that come with that, right? So yeah, we get the wisdom, we get, you know, all these beautiful life experiences, and just literally having another breath in your body, you have another chance to go after your dreams, go after your goals, right? But there is things that happen with our body, like hormones and just stress management and just life kind of closing in on you, right? If you have young children, if you have an older, you know, parent or elderly grandparents that are getting sick, there's just a lot of pressure on women that are, you know, going into the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, right? And the first thing that women tend to do is just kind of put their physical fitness and physical activity to the side, because that's just the kind of creatures that we are. We are nurturers. And it's just, there's just too many tools now. That's how I'll put it. There's just too many tools now that can help us on the journey, right, of being a woman in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, which is a benefit. I mean, even though the world is speeding up, there's also so many resources to help us stay active, more nutritious, more healthy for longer, you know, for a longer period of time. And here's the thing. I don't have any excuse not to be going after my optimal health, because I don't have any children yet. By the grace of God, I'm praying for my husband and my child. But you know, I don't have any excuse, right? The women that motivate me the most are the women that are 55 plus that are super fit, right? The women that are mothers that have young toddlers running around and they're super fit, right? So I'm like, I don't have any toddlers running around or a husband yet. So what is my excuse? Literally. So you're going to want to hop on this train with me, because the energy that I'm going to be coming with for 2025 and beyond is going to be so powerful, because again, I have talked myself out of the laziness. I've talked myself out of the procrastination. I've talked myself out of the negative self-talk. I've talked myself out of believing that, okay, well, you know, when you hit 30, you're done for. When you hit 35, society says that you're washed up and you're done for. And okay, that's fine. So since, you know, society has made that decision, that doesn't mean I have to abide by it, right? I don't have to sign myself onto that belief system, right? I can just be over here in going after my goals land, and society can be in their limiting beliefs land, right? So you're going to want to link arms with me and come along this journey with me, because we are going to the next level together. We are in pursuit of embodying that next level. That's why I call my page Embody Pursuit. So what happened was with me, I gained 30 pounds in my later 20s, and I was horrified. Like, I just was like, am I going to go down the same path as the women in my family that end up being obese, that end up having, being pre-diabetic, that end up having heart, issues, heart or blood pressure issues, like just like the typical, what happens when you quote unquote age, right? And I was just like, this is where it starts, isn't it? In your late 20s, like, is this it? And so when I just was starting to do research, because I just wasn't accepting it, I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm supposed to live, there's people that are comfortably living until they're, 85, 90 years old. So I'm supposed to live the next 60, 70 years of my life just gaining 10 pounds every decade of my life. Like, is that part of human aging? Like if it is, I'll accept it and, and just be thankful for another day of my life. But I was looking around and I was like, there's women in their 50s and 60s that are very fit. Like, what are they doing? Right. In all backgrounds, all races, all ethnicities. So I was like, I'm going to do my research and I'm going to actually try. I'm not going to just accept the extra 30 pounds and live with it. And, unfortunately, there can be people around you that kind of affirm that to you and say, hey, look, this is just a part of aging, kind of get used to it, just start getting bigger dress sizes and, take it easy. You're getting older. And it's like, no, actually, the more we age, we should be speeding up, right? We should be actually trying a little harder, right? Because there is things that like collagen and, different hormonal changes that happen that we have to adjust to. Doesn't mean you're done for, but, our metabolism, there's things that's going on there. And, we just have to get educated and figure out, okay, so now that we're going through a different stage with our body, what does that actually look like, right? So I'm going to explain that in this video. So when I gained the 30 pounds, a lot of it had to do with stress. A lot of it had to do with my bad habits, eating super late, going to happy hours with friends and coworkers after work, right? And then just slowing down a lot more. I did walk a lot. My job that I used to have, I would walk a lot, but I wasn't like, I was eating more calories than I was walking. I'll put it like that, right? I wasn't sleeping enough. It was just a mess. Okay. It was just a mess. And so when I changed my habits, I was like, oh, okay, well, on top of hormones changing, on top of just typical human aging, the hormones, like I can work with these, right? Like, no, I can't eat a pizza at midnight anymore like I used to be able to at 19, but I can still have a pizza, for lunch, right? And then do a really awesome workout after work, right? And like so I got a gym membership. I started going to the gym, getting more confident in the gym, which that actually was a whole journey in itself, which I'll explain later. But how I lost the 30 pounds and never gained it back is just what you're seeing here. I just started to try, right? I did things that were uncomfortable. I worked out when I didn't want to. I didn't accept that I was just aging and 30 pounds is just part of what happens in my family. I could have blamed it on genes because most of the women in my family, I honestly think arguably all except my generation and younger are actually technically would be considered in the obese range. Okay. And, even though my mother is healthier than she's been in her adult life, in her 60s, technically I believe where she's at, she's still in that obese range based on her height and her weight, but she's doing amazing. So she's on her journey as well. I share her journey in other videos. She's doing amazing. She's definitely a huge motivator for me. Same with my dad. He lost a ton of weight and is very active in his 60s as well. So, looking at my own two parents, I can see when you just put in the time and the work and you do things that are uncomfortable, like you can get results, right? It's not done for you. There's even studies showing that a person in their 60s can have the same metabolism as somebody in their 30s, right? You just have to actually use it correctly. And I was not using mine correctly. So I started doing intermittent fasting. I started doing HIIT cardio. I started to move my body every day. I started to make sure I was hydrated. I started taking apple cider vinegar every single morning and, kind of getting in front of my blood sugar. I didn't understand. I had no idea what blood sugar was. I'm still uncovering what blood sugar actually is and all the different moving parts of how it really affects us. But, we live in a society that's kind of going against us. We have Uber Eats, we have, DoorDash, we have grocery delivery, we have all these things, remote working, right? We can work from home. There's just all these things that kind of are encouraging us to be more sedentary, and we're having to fight more and more every day to go opposite. So it's so interesting how society is so much better in so many ways, but we're having to now adapt and adjust because our human bodies are tailored for, the primitive way of existing for millennia, right? Which is moving our body to get food, not stuffing ourselves with sugar because we didn't have access to sugar in the morning. Now you can stuff yourself with sugar right when you wake up, right? With a sugary coffee, with sugary cereals and Pop-Tarts and donuts and all of that stuff. So it's just a lot different. So we have to do what we can do in order to not go down such a rapid, we're all going to age, but we don't have to age as rapidly as society kind of makes it seem like it's okay to do. And, when you go to other countries, it's just, they're not having the same rapid weight gain that we are. So that's a whole nother video. But I ended up figuring out a system for myself where I went on a 6-month shutdown and really figured out what workouts where I could get the most bang for your buck. And some of those workouts are in this video, doing a lot of HIIT cardio, a lot of jumping, a lot of, zone 2, where you get your body in a zone 2 level to be burning fat, but not so high to where you're just completely exhausted, where you can't breathe, but it's uncomfortable to breathe, right? And you kind of keep your body in that state so that way your body's burning fat, right? Side note, I am on a serious journey to learn how to engage my core. I was excellent at it when I was a dancer. I used to be a professional dancer when I was younger. But for some reason, while learning how to lift weights and just being on this journey, when I'm trying to breathe through these hard workouts, I just let my stomach hang. And so I've really been on a journey to engage my core. So every single morning I do vacuums, which has really helped. I practice doing planks, and then I'm very conscious of it throughout the day, not just when I work out, but like throughout the day. So I won't just sit and let my stomach hang. I'll actually tighten it and still breathe with it engaged. So I'll do a whole video on that, but you might see my stomach being me pushing it out. And that's just me kind of losing consciousness of okay, I need to, keep my stomach and my stomach, engaged. When the instructor says, pull your belly button to your spine, pull your belly button to your spine. That's what they basically mean, is because you can just kind of breathe through the workouts and then let your stomach hang. And then you end up kind of forming your abs to go outward when we want them to go inward, right? So that's just a side note. But that's what I did. I'd stopped eating late, all of that. So I actually have what I did to lose weight and never gain it back. I literally in my late 20s gained 30 pounds and I never gained it back, living out my 30s in more of this state where I kind of was hovering in between the 135 to 142 range. Okay. And so now I'm actually on a journey to do body recomposition. So you guys are seeing me on that journey where I don't really mind the number on the scale. I mean, if it goes down, that's nice, but I'm more so worried about burning fat and having more lean muscle pop through, right? So that's what you guys are seeing me work on right now. So over the course of time, you'll probably see me start to look leaner. So that'll be fun. And I actually am posting these videos as kind of a holding myself accountable, because a lot of it has to do with the diet, right? So I'm actually doing intermittent fasting, been doing that. Huge reason why I was able to lose the 30 pounds and never gain it back. And I do talk about how I did that in a guide. I have it all nice and formatted for you in an ebook guide that I will pin in the comments for you, or it'll be down in the description. And it wrote itself. Women saw that I lost the 30 pounds and never gained it back. And they were like, how did you do it? And I started DMing them back and saying, oh, I did X, Y, and Z. And they were like, Ciana, I actually did what you said and I lost 20 pounds. I lost 30 pounds. And I'm like, what? So I just decided to put it into an ebook, right? So it's a very simple guide. It has a foundation of 4 pillars, and you can do the guide with any diet, right? You don't have to eat a very specific keto diet or vegan diet or carnivore diet. You can do any diet that you want. It's more so surrounded around habits and different workouts and methods that actually work when you pair them all together. The secret sauce to my guide is that when you put them all together, it makes this beautiful magic combination that just helps you navigate life with ease and flow, but you don't feel like you're suffering through not being able to have your favorite foods, right? You don't feel like you're being tortured with having to do all these crazy workouts. You can do a 20-minute workout and be in zone 2 cardio and start to watch the fat just drop off your body with a combination of the 4 pillars that I have in that ebook. So I definitely encourage you guys to tap in with that. I also have a couple playlists where I talk about how I lost fat. I also have training with a master trainer where I show the exact workouts to gain muscle specifically, not just to burn fat, but to actually learn how to gain muscle. So I do have that journey in my playlist as well, so you guys can check that out. But I want to hear from you guys. What are you guys doing to, break out of the mindset? What are you guys doing physically and mentally, right? And when I just told myself and I did the research and I was like, okay, do I have to accept this? When I did the research, I was like, okay, no, I don't have to accept it. So that was enough for me to just continue to try and continue to fail. I definitely have been on a very interesting roller coaster with my health. I lost 30 pounds, but then I also went through an unhealthy phase where I was under eating. So I talk about that in other videos as well. So I finally feel like I've figured out the perfect combination of just a nice, well-rounded, healthy, active lifestyle where I'm having fun with food. I have a beautiful relationship with food. I have a beautiful relationship with moving my body. And I'm not, hounding on myself or pounding on myself or doing negative self-talk, right? I'm just allowing myself to try. I'm allowing myself to, be uncomfortable. I'm allowing myself to have fun on the journey. That I'm going after the journey. I'm not really going after a destination. And I think that mind switch has really kind of released the pressure to feel like I have to arrive somewhere. I'm simply arriving every day by just showing up for myself, by actually doing something I told myself that I was going to do, right? Which is actually show up to a workout. You guys know I love, if you've been following me for a while, I love when it's sunny outside. I live in LA. I'm very spoiled in that way. We see the sun a lot, even in the winter. And lately it's been gray. So, I have to tap into another level of discipline. But it's been fun to figure out what works for me, right? And so I'm sharing that with you. I hope that there's something in this video that you can benefit from. And let me know in the comments what else you guys want to see, what else you guys want to learn. And if there's something I don't know, I'm happy to research it and try it out. I love experimenting with the health, fitness, mindfulness space. And subscribe and catch me on the next one.